Coming up on With News, ANU confirms it's been hit by a massive data breach. The Treasurer reveals his latest budget, and snow blankets parts of the region.
Across Canberra and its surrounding regions, this is Win News.
Tonight, Andrew Barr's budget for the future, but Canberrans will fork out more. A major ANU data breach sees hackers steal almost 2 decades of personal details, and a Duntroon cadet fights a rape charge, insisting there was consent. Good evening, I'm Geoff Phillips. Also coming up tonight, an unexpected dusting of snow around Crookwell and Goulburn will bring you spectacular vision and your full weather forecast. Chief Minister and Treasurer Andrew Barr insists his 8th ACT budget is building for Canberra's future, as he's forced to defend a deficit forecast for the upcoming fiscal year. As expected, health and education have been prioritised, with the Territory's leader confident of returning to surplus in the coming years.
Treasurer and Chief Minister Andrew Barr beginning the sales pitch for his latest big spending budget by outlining the alternative.
If we don't invest now, Madam Speaker, Canberrans will pay the price with traffic that just keeps on building up.
But that investment means a deficit next year of almost $90 million and one the year after. But Mr Barr says it's justified given the federal funding gaps his government now needs to plug. Healthcare infrastructure earns an almost $850 million commitment, including the Canberra Hospital expansion project Spire, Calvary upgrades, a Dixon walk-in centre and an opioid maintenance treatment clinic. There's also money to look into establishing a medically supervised injecting facility and to improve mental health services. For education opportunities, there's funds for 2 new schools in Gungahlin and expansions to 6 existing ones across the city's north, as well as more teachers and support staff. A transport infrastructure package will progress design and planning work for Stage 2 of light rail and deliver dozens of new fuel-efficient buses. To beef up justice and safety, more than $70 million will help the government build communities, not prisons, and there's also funds for court-led interventions for parents whose children have been removed from their care. Plus,
there is a boost to ACT policing, reflecting our increased population and a change in the way that police will undertake their work.
The Treasurer insists the heaviest lifting of the government's tax reform has been achieved, but meeting the demands of a growing city will mean some hit to our hip pocket. Homeowners will cop a rates rise of 7%, a bit more if you own a unit, and will pay a little more for our motor vehicle rego and driver's licences, as well as parking fees and fines.
The more you transition to the rates base, the more everyone contributes each year to the services that everyone consumes.
Emma Groves, Win News.
The Treasurer is now urging Canberrans to back the budget, insisting it recognises cost of living pressures with limited growth in government fees and charges. Win News political reporter Emma Groves sat down with the Treasurer this afternoon.
Chief Minister, thanks for your time this afternoon. Let's start with the budget deficit, almost $90 million. What's behind that?
We're investing in our city's hospitals, new nurse-led walk-in centres, new schools in growth areas. Canberrans will see more services on the ground and making it easier for them to move around this fantastic city.
The Chief Minister may be upbeat about his budget, but the opposition thinks Canberrans are being monumentally ripped off, paying more but getting less. Even Labor's parliamentary allies, the Greens, are raising concerns over where some of the funds are being invested.
There's been mixed feelings across the city towards today's Territory budget. The biggest nasty of the day, the increase to rates and registrations.
The heating bill's going to hit us big time, isn't it? So we don't want any more money taken off us.
It's going to increase the cost of living also. It's going to make it very difficult for an average household.
While others remain unfazed by the increases in light of investments announced in the budget across other areas of concern. Wishaskew, Win News.
Now to the rest of the day's news. The Australian National University is in damage control tonight after a major data breach in which hackers stole the personal details of staff, students and visitors dating back 19 years. A sophisticated operator is said to have violated the ANU systems, with the issue only coming to light in the past fortnight. Among the information which may have been taken are names, addresses, tax file numbers, payroll information and bank account and passport details. The university estimates more than 200,000 people have been affected. It says it's working to identify the source of the hack and strengthen its IT systems. A Fijian soldier is standing trial over allegations he raped a sleeping cadet at the Royal Military College in Duntroon. Prosecutors told the court DNA analysis and a series of internet searches will prove critical evidence over the week of hearings.
A military graduate turned alleged rapist, Samisoni Laloma Baker Toga, fronted court today alongside his lawyers and supporters. The trial continues. Michael Hammond, Win News.
As expected, the Reserve Bank has cut interest rates to a record low, 0.25% to a cash rate of 1.25%. It's expected to bring stability back into the housing market and stimulate business. If the banks pass on the cut, someone with a $300,000 mortgage could save around $43 a month. ACT Police have launched a major campaign targeting driver distraction, a day after an elderly man became the region's latest road death victim. Despite the best efforts of those who rushed to his aid, he tragically could not be saved. Win News police reporter Michael Hammond has the details.
The 91-year-old man was killed in a single vehicle accident here in the car park of the Southern Cross Yacht Club in Yarralumla.
Still ahead on Win News, parts of the region blanketed by a dusting of snow, and rivalries put aside to help raise funds for Mary Mead and Bosom Buddies. Snow has fallen across the southern tablelands and snowy mountains, while strong winds have battered the Canberra region. The wintry blast kicked in early this morning, with Crookwell residents waking to a decent dusting of snow. While temperatures dropped to 5 degrees, it felt much colder than that. Around 15 centimetres of the white stuff was also dumped at Perisher and Thredbo. Win's Chris Polzot will have the full weather app and your 7-day outlook a little later in the bulletin. Today marks the 30th anniversary of the pro-democracy student and worker protest at Tiananmen Square. Despite the significance, academics believe it will be marked by almost complete silence in the People's Republic of China, within Greater China, and even in some of Australia's Chinese press.
For many Australians of a certain age, the Tiananmen Square massacre stands alongside events like the moon landing, Lady Di's wedding and September 11.
Still dissatisfied with the changes to the bus network, the Canberra Liberals have renewed calls for scrap services to be reinstated. Today submitting a petition of more than 7,000 signatures from concerned Canberrans.
A significant number of dedicated school buses have been cut under this network, and parents and school communities remain incredibly concerned about children's safety. And we'd also like them to review other services to make sure that Canberrans do have accessible public transport.
The increased pressure comes more than 6 weeks since the launch of the new bus network. Local sporting groups have come together in a sea of pink, attempting to break the world record for the largest number of people playing a continuous game of netball. With rivalry set aside, the event also raised much-needed funds for charities.
Going head-to-head, but not for the glory. The Tuggeranong Netball Association turning pink for a special charity round.
Time for sport now with Bruce Roberts and Australia A call-up for Maitland Brown.
And such a well-deserved honour, Geoff, because she has worked so hard in the off-season. We'll have more on the media's quick after the break. Plus also, Connell McInerney talks us through his second half hat-trick against the Sunwolves. Hello again. The Raiders will welcome back Jordan Rapana for Friday's clash against the Tigers in Sydney. The New Zealand international set to line up for his 100th game in green after overcoming a knee complaint.
A welcome reinforcement for an injury-hit Raiders outfit. Jordan Rapana named to start on the wing for Friday's important clash against the Tigers.
ACT Meteor's quick Maitland Brown has been selected in the Australia A squad for this month's tour of England. The 21-year-old has spent the past 3 weeks training in Brisbane with the national performance squad. Hopeful the experience will put her in strong stead in a push for a potential Ashes call-up while in the UK.
Speaking to selectors, there is definitely lots of opportunities to get into the Australian squad and play in the Ashes. Injuries can come into it.
The Brumbies are expecting to face a full-strength Waratahs side on Saturday as the race for the Super Rugby finals heats up. One player not short of confidence heading into the clash is Connell McInerney, the hooker, still pinching himself after nabbing a hat-trick against the Sunwolves.
He's the Brumbies' leading try scorer in 2019, but Folau is sure to be looking over his shoulder after fellow hooker Connell McInerney's second-half hat-trick against the Sunwolves in Japan.
Elsewhere, Balconen got past the academy, Woden thrashed Monaro, and Olympic edged out the Wanderers. And Geoff, that is it for me. Thank you.
You're on deck tomorrow, so we'll see you then.
Terrific.
OK, Chris is standing by with the weather. Snow has blanketed parts of the region.
That's right, Geoff, and it's sure made for an icy day. I'll have the latest weather details for you after the break.
This report brought to you by Harvey Norman half-yearly clearance on now, in store and online.
Welcome back. Daytime maximum temperatures remained below average today. Tonight's weather photo is from Catherine. Catherine sent in an incredible shot of a blanket of golden cloud moving across the sky. Amazing snap there, Catherine. Thank you very much. Send through your weather photos to weather@wintv.com.au. I'd love to see them. For now, though, let's look at some details from today. Winds were howling along the coast. Sydney 14 degrees, 13 was the high for Wollongong. Further south, Ulladulla 13 degrees, 13 also for Bega. Looking inland now, more snow dumping on the slopes. Thredbo picked up about 20 centimetres overnight. Bombala topped out at 6. And to the ACT, in Canberra, strong southerly winds gusting to 69 kilometres an hour, dragging the apparent temperature down to about -3 this morning. On the satellite, a low pressure system and its associated front is crossing the northern coast this evening and heading toward the eastern Tasman Sea. On the synoptic chart, damaging winds along the coast and the higher grounds will ease tonight, and generally settled conditions should follow as the low pressure system moves towards New Zealand. To the forecast now for the south coast. A high chance of showers along the coastal fringe and a medium chance elsewhere. Nowra will see 16 degrees, 16 also in Ulladulla. Further south here we have a medium chance of showers in Maria, 7 to 17 degrees, 16 the top for Merimbula. Inland to the Snowy Mountains, partly cloudy with a slight chance of a shower in the southeast. And to the ACT, mostly sunny with some areas of morning frost. Let's have a look at Canberra tomorrow. Mostly sunny day ahead, 1 to 14 will be the stretch. Let's have a look now at Canberra's temperatures for the week ahead. We'll see patches of morning frost over the next few days. Then the skies will be remaining clear until the weekend, when we can expect some clouds with some possible rainfall again early next week. So some sunshine ahead for now, Geoff.
Lovely, Chris. Thank you. And that is Win News for Tuesday the 4th of May. To view some of our reports, visit the Win News Canberra Facebook page. We'll see you tomorrow night at 6. The project is next.
This has been a Win News presentation. Win News, Regional Australia's #1 news source.